Video request, getting caught up on the video request. This one's from Mark Del Rio from Elk Grove, right? Hi there, how are you? I'm good, thanks. Next video request, can you please talk about your thoughts on stand-up comedy in general and why? Also, who are some of your favorite comedians? Thanks and have a nice day. Oh yeah, I love stand-up comedy, man. Some of my favorite comedians, well, let's see, let's go back along. I remember back in the 80s I listened to like Bill Cosby. He was funny. He'd sit there on a chair and, you know, like, oh, Uncle would be there and he'd say, if he'd fart, he'd be, oh no, look, there, did you see the elephant just go under the chair? And yeah, he's kind of like the G-rated comic. I saw him on, I think, like the Today Show or something a couple years ago, and they actually kicked him. They played the music before he was done with his joke. Thought that was kind of rude, but I thought he was being funny. I thought he was telling a funny joke. He's like, yeah, I was talking, getting old, it's funny. I was talking, my friend called me the other day. He said, hey, this is Jimmy. And I was like, I know that's you, Jimmy. And I thought it was funny. But I guess he's kind of, people aren't into that comedy so much anymore, but I remember when I was like 10 or something, Eddie Murphy Delirious came out, or I was 11 or 12. And I remember the neighbor kid, he was older than me, he was like 6 years older than me. He thought it was the funniest thing ever, but I didn't watch it. And if I'd watched it, I don't know if I would have gotten the jokes, but I know that's one of like the big stand-up comedy, you know, of all time shows, but so I don't really have anything to say about that. Richard Pryor is another big comedian. I remember one joke that I thought was really funny. He's like, how do you believe in aliens? There's aliens in New York in their spaceship. Now how could that even possibly be? How could they fly here from another galaxy? You know how expensive it would be? You know, to fly here, if it cost $5 just to get from here to across the strait, you know how expensive it would be to fly here from another planet? I thought it was kind of funny. And Dave Chappelle is funny as hell, dude. He always cracks me up. My funniest Dave Chappelle skit is he's like, did you know where syphilis comes from? Syphilis comes from having sex with monkeys. Now that's ridiculous. You know how hard it is to catch a monkey? I thought that was funny as hell. But then he's like, yeah. I mean, but I guess that'd be nice to have a monkey, you know, just be like easy, just be like, you know, let's go out and fuck some babies. Now I'm gonna hang here with my monkey, with Bobo. Anyways, yeah, he's funny. I think Dane Cook can be funny, but you can burn out on him really quick. He's kind of like sophomoric. He's like the comedian for like the 12-year-olds. Just because he's really visual comic, like how he gets just really hyper. Oh, what? So he's super funny, just as funny as anybody. If you watch him like not very frequently. And he'd probably be pretty funny in person too. Yeah, I like that kind of manic comedy stuff. I guess Louis C.K. is now like one of the big comics, and he's funny, you know. He likes, I guess, make jokes about being a parent. He just kind of sits there and talks, you know. He's not a very like flamboyant comedian, but he's funny. I've never, ever been into a female comedian, though. Female comics I don't think one female comic has ever drawn a laugh from me in my entire life. They usually, like, talk about, like, I don't know. See, women are, like, really, like, 100 times more closed-minded than men, so a woman making a joke, like, to a woman would sound like, oh, my God. You know, she's just said a sexual joke. Oh, that's funny. Wow. And to me, it's just like, okay. Like if a man were to tell a joke that a woman says, it's like, you know, I don't know. I can't think of any. But let's see. Let's see. Can I name of any other comedians who are really funny? I know that there's some famous like comedic actors who had done stand up who were really funny, who are supposed to be funny. I've never like Adam Sandler. I've never seen Adam Sandler do any stand up. I think there's this radio channel. I think it's 103.1 here in Boulder that plays stand up comedy all the time. And when I hear that, I turn it on. That is the most brilliant business, like the most brilliant business plan I've ever heard. Just have stand-up comedy on one radio show all day, every day. Fucking awesome. I'd tune into that. I don't know if it's on all the time because I don't hear it all the time, but I should go and find it because whenever it's on, I listen to it. It's funny as hell. Because they have just like a little snippet of a comedian doing his one little skit, and then they throw the other guy in, because that's what's the funniest thing about stand-up comedy is variety. You would have, because all different stand-up comedians tell different jokes and have different styles, and so it stays fresh. That's the thing about comedy, stand-up comedy, is you have to stay fresh. And see, that's one thing about like that closed-minded people don't understand is that comedy is like talking about the absurd, right? As though it's real. But people can laugh about it because everybody agrees that it's absurd, right? So if that's why a lot of people can't take jokes and they get offended and stuff because they live too closely to that world, Like if you're gonna tell like a dirty joke, like for example, there's a baby skunk and a baby chicken on the side of the road, and the little chicken and both of their parents have been killed by cars, and the little chicken's like, I've got wings and I've got a beak and I've got these little claws in my feet, but I don't know what animal I is. And he's like, the skunk's all, well, you're yellow, you have feathers and beak and little claws, and you quack, so you must be a duck. But then the duck's like, oh, thank you. And then the skunk goes, but I don't know what I am. My mommy died. And the duck goes, well, you're not totally white and you're not totally black and you stink, so you must be Mexican. Snap. Or like, so, but if somebody would get upset with that joke if they grew up in a racist environment, like that's not a joke to them because it's real, like people are like, fucking stinky Mexican, fucking stinky, and they hear that all the time. And then they hear that joke. It's not absurd to them. It's real life, and that's not funny, Like how about another joke? Oh wait. I can't remember. But just like dirty jokes, like sexual jokes. Like you can't tell dirty jokes to a lot of women because because maybe they've been raped or something, and it just hits too close to home. So the more closed-minded somebody is, the more sheltered somebody is, the more judgmental somebody is, the smaller somebody's mind is, the smaller they would joke about something, they would laugh about something really like a lot more like benign, or something I can't even think of it. Like jokes from like a long time ago, like Lenny Bruce or something, I guess was like totally off the wall. But if you'd hear him now, you'd be like, well, that wasn't so like, like offensive. Like what? So basically, comedians, you have to push the envelope, dude. You have to constantly push the envelope. And just say crazy, wacky, wild things, and the people who are more open-minded and who are less, or more in a more, free society and stuff would be able to take the joke, like for example, making fun of, mimicking and mocking somebody from another country. Americans do that all the time, like if you do an accent, I think it's funny as hell to hear somebody do their impression of an accent from another country, because it's just funny. It sounds, because like maybe they're totally wrong or something. But if somebody from another country is like they're super like they have self-esteem issues or something. You know, they get offended. They just straight up get offended. So yeah, so it's this kind of like this constantly evolving art form that pushing the envelope that is always going to offend some people, scare some people, but be super funny to other people. And so yeah, the history of comedy would be an interesting kind of documentary to watch. Just like watch like snippets, like, you know, Lenny Bruce for a couple minutes, and then, you know, and just basically do it chronologically. Lenny Bruce for, you know, you do the early 60s comedy for a couple minutes, and then you do the mid 60s comedy and late 60s comedy, and kind of like for over the course of a couple hours, and then move on in the future. That'd be awesome to put like a video together like that, or a playlist or something. And then you could kind of predict what comedy would be like in the future. I think people are becoming more and more comedic. Comedy is kind of becoming more mainstream in the future. I know, like, I watch the Young Turks a lot. It's a news show, but those guys are always cracking jokes, and it's funny as hell because they're making fun. One of their big things is they make fun of all the stupid politicians, and then they show the snippets and they say, you know, make jokes about them, and it's just the funniest thing. Even one of the correspondents on there is actually a stand-up comedian, so it's and I'm always telling jokes too. I'm not really a stand-up comedian, but I'm always telling jokes, and I think some people don't realize it, and some people do, but because I'm the kind of person who on my YouTube videos, like my vlogs, or if I'm talking about stuff, I'll crack a joke and I won't laugh. I'll crack a joke and I won't even smile. Like I'll just talk. I'll say something totally absurd, crack a joke, and then I'll keep talking. And to me, I'm just laughing to myself, and probably like other people get the joke, like Americans would get the joke, but some other people just would not get the joke. They'll be like, that guy Kyle is fucking crazy. He actually thinks that, you know, I can't think of any examples or anything, but like, you wouldn't believe what he said. He said, it's like, I know, it's totally absurd because it was a joke, you moron. You know, Americans, like, you better watch out. Like people, like Europeans and Australians and stuff, watch out, dude, because a lot of times you guys like to make fun of Americans like we're stupid, and then you'll repeat something we said, having no idea that it was just a joke. Like I had a friend, an American friend, and she was with he was on a train or something with some, like, you know, Australian girl or something, talking trash about America. You know, like, goddamn Americans, look, McDonald's everywhere. And then my friend started talking, oh yeah, I really love Taco Bell, dude. The Taco Bell, like, stuffing layer burrito, I just love that in the slice. And then going over to that, and he just started talking, and he was joking. And he remembered looking at the girl, like, rolling her eyes, like, terrified of him. Oh no, a stupid American. But he was joking, and he was just, like, laughing to himself, you know. So, like, yeah, dude, for example, I was in Barcelona in a bus, doing a tour of the city in a bus, and there was an American in there, and they were showing they're really proud of their architecture, and they were showing some building, and like the frame was on the outside of it, you know, and the glass was on the inside. So some American was like, well, when are they going to finish it? That was a joke. He wasn't serious. You know, like some stupid person could have been like, what? No, they are done with it, you dumbass American. And he's like, you know, it was just a joke, dude. But yeah, so that's kind of, yeah, I can't think of any of the new comics that come out now. I like it when people make like jokes about, like Robin Williams is probably the best stand-up comedian ever, dude. He's like, oh my God, dude. I remember he was saying some joke about like the invention of like golf in Scotland a couple hundred years ago, like, and just like, you know, going through like, oh, I have a good idea. Let's try to kick the ball into the hole. I don't know. I can't remember. You know, people just have a knack for comedy, and you have your own little knack. I consider myself like a comedian, but I just have my own little style. You know, I couldn't be a stand-up comedian because if I came up with a routine with my jokes, I should try to come up with a routine and do a stand-up comedy show in my room or something like that. But my show, you know what, I should do that. But see, it would be really weird. Like people would be like, it'd be like really intense, and I can't even describe. I didn't think about this video before I made it, but it'd just be like, Yeah, has to do with like mocking other people. I think different countries have different ideas about comedy. Americans love to mock people because we have so many different cultures here, and we're kind of insulated, and we have our own version of the other cultures that come here. So we we can make fun of it because it's not offensive because we all live together and we're not a racist against each other, and so we can make jokes about like Chinese stereotypes and stuff like that. But yeah, who does those kinds of jokes? Oh, impressionistic jokes are really funny. Impressionistic stand-up comedians like Jim Carrey, dude. He's really funny. Like when he did the impression of a what are those big dogs? Those giant dogs that have the little like goodie bag under them that they go in to help you. Anyways, he was going to do one of them. So he's like, woof. That was funny as hell, man. And then just, yeah, like who's that dude, the fat dude who does the impressions of everybody? He's really good at George Bush. And oh my God, that guy's funny. Making fun of other people is my favorite kind of stand-up comedy, dude. Like mimicking other people. I'd love it if I'd love to hear other people like try to mimic me. Actually, some people do it. It's kind of funny. Okay, anyways, that's that.